yelled at the guy, and then the guy that was in the outside lane made his U-turn, and then as he drove past the driver, he pointed a gun out the window at him. The victim was able to get a license plate number, called that in. We had officers that found the car and stopped it. Didn't get too terribly far away, but he was arrested for the 1 count of aggravated assault. There was a gun that was found inside the car, but no shots that were fired, no injuries with anybody. It was on like the Cliff Avenue Bridge right near 14th Street. So they were facing north, so when he made the U-turn, then obviously he was going south, and then he ended up going west on 14th Street. And the officers found him near, would have been near 8th and Minnesota. That's where they found the suspect.
Did he have a handgun on?
There was a handgun that was found in the car, yeah.
Was it loaded?
Um,
Just had it on?
I don't know. It just says the handgun was found, so I don't know if it was loaded or not.
He was just charged with the 1 count?
Yep, 1 count of aggravated assault. Do you want his name?
Yeah.
Okay. Last name is Flanagan, Flanagan. First is Clay, Clay. Middle is Thomas, Thomas. And he's 23 from Sioux Falls.
Can you just describe one more time, Sam, kind of what happened? I'm kind of confused with where the street's at for that.
So they were on Cliff Avenue, the bridge that goes over the Big Sioux. So it's,
Kind of south.
yeah, they were facing north. They would have been heading north, but there's a train going across there. So then all these cars were making a U-turn from the northbound lane to then go south, so they wouldn't have to wait for the train. So our victim was stopped in the inside lane. There was a couple of cars in front of him that made U-turns, and then our suspect was in the curbside lane. And so the suspect made that U-turn and cut in front of the victim, and then that's when he kind of honked. He thought the victim thought the suspect was going to hit his car when he made that U-turn.
Gotcha.
And so that's really what started everything. The counterfeiting, that was a fake 50 that was passed. No suspects on that one.
Is that at a business or just?
At a convenience store. Yeah,
Okay.
they found it after the fact.
Did it have like the motion picture thing on it?
No, this was it was a $1 bill that they had made to look like a $50 bill. So we don't see a lot of those. They do pop up from time to time, but it's pretty rare that we're seeing that type of washed bill.
So they like modified it after the fact then?
Right, yeah.
I guess I didn't know they could do that.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's one of the ways that people counterfeit money, and then that goes back to using the security features that are built in, and, I mean, there's a lot of them that are just there. So, in a case like this, it's still a real bill. The pens would show that it's a real bill, but the safety features that are built into that currency would show that it's not a 50, that it was actually a $1 bill. So there's things that people need to just pay attention to, and unfortunately this one slipped by.
And so the best way to protect yourself in business is just to check those security features and try those currency pens.
Yeah, checking the security features is the best thing to do. If you holding it up to light is probably the easiest thing to do, because you've got the security band that's in there that will identify the denomination. You've also got the watermark, and the picture on that watermark will match the picture on the front of the bill. So even if somebody's altering what the bill looks like on the surface, they're not going to be able to defeat those other security measures.
Do you have a location for this one?
That one was at 400 block of Northwest Avenue, so at 6th and West. Disorderly conducts, nothing big out of those. A few trespassings, a few other reports. The family offenses were all no contact violations, protection order violations, and then a few reports. We did have one fraud that was a scam, and we've seen this before, but it's pretty rare. This happened yesterday. It was probably between 5:30 and 6:30 p.m. Our victim was at a gas station at 14th in Minnesota, and he said there was a guy that drove up and asked him, basically he needed some money, and he had a lot of jewelry and was basically telling the victim, I'll give you all this jewelry when I think he said he was going to California, and when he gets to his destination, he'd reimburse him for the money he lent him and then some. They talked for a little bit and went to the victim's apartment. The victim ended up giving the man several $1,000s of cash. The man gave the victim a lot of jewelry, even took some off of his supposed wife. And it was after all this was done, the victim was talking to his roommate and realized that something didn't quite add up. The victim took the jewelry to a pawn shop and they said it was all fake. So he ended up giving them over $8,000 in cash. Like I said, we've seen things similar to this before, but it's pretty rare for these types of scams. There is some information. It was at a gas station. I believe they have surveillance there, so hopefully we'll be able to get a description or a license plate of the suspect. So there's a little chance that we can maybe identify who the suspect is. So we'll still work on this.
What was the location again?
It was at 14th in Minnesota
What time around was that?
between 5:30 and 6:30 p.m.
So the suspect just parked up next to the victim and then,
Yeah, the victim was there, and then the suspect drove up and started the conversation.
It was just the suspect and his wife?
yeah, because we mentioned.
I just have the online report. Yeah, it says there was the man, the suspect, a woman that he said was his wife, and then there was a child. I don't have an age of the child, so, and I don't know if it was just those three people or if there was more.
But they went to the victim's apartment, and that's where they kind of exchanged jewelry and cash.
Right, yeah. He initially gave him some jewelry at the gas station, and then as they continued the conversation, they went to the apartment, and that's where the victim had more of his money.
So the description of the vehicle, was it like out of state place?
I don't know. That doesn't list any plates. The only thing I have is it was a white GMC Yukon or Suburban.
So this is
Well, it'd
just
be a GMC if you'd be a Yukon if it was a GMC, but a white SUV.
So this is just a little bit of a different kind of take on those scams. Now, this is kind of more of a physical trade versus kind of those online scams or phone scams.
Yeah, I mean, they're different. I mean, they're the same in the fact that it's a scam, but these are completely different types of things. I know we had a few years ago that somebody was, it was similar to this, but they were selling jewelry, basically selling diamonds, and I think they may have been, they're either loose diamonds or rings. And it was kind of the same thing, that they basically said that they needed some fast money and they didn't want to sell it, but they needed the cash, and they kind of give a whole explanation of why they're selling jewelry for a discount. But that other incident was the same as this. Once they took it to a jewelry, they found out it was fake and wasn't real jewels. So like I said, this is something that's fairly rare. We've seen it before, but it's not something that's a regular occurrence. But I would kind of chalk this up to, if something sounds too good to be true, it probably is. You know, if you have a person that approaches you out of the blue and claims to have several $1,000s worth of jewelry and they need some money back, that would probably be a red flag. And I suppose there's a chance something like that could be legitimate, but you know, if it were me, I'd sure want to check out first if the jewelry was real before I'm giving any type of money.
That'd be like the big red flag to look for, is seeing if what they're offering is real.
Yeah, you know, it's not every day that somebody's walking up to you and offering to sell jewelry at a discount. And so if something like that happens, there's probably a reason, maybe that'd be the red flag is that it's probably not legitimate. Nothing else big. The other frauds are just reports, some ID thefts in there as well. The larcenies, we had 3 catalytic converters that were stolen. 2 of them were probably Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. One of them was, they thought, sometime over the last 3 months, but nothing in one certain area. Nothing real big out of those other larcenies. Narcotics, no big quantities on anything. The rape, we had, and the sex offenses, both of those are reports. Nothing big from the simple assaults. The vandalisms, we had a car window and then a park bathroom was damaged. And the weapons violation, one of those is a duplicate report from the road rage, and then another one that involves juveniles. And the only other thing that I have is I just kind of wanted to talk about this is Saturday is the DEA Drug Take Back Day, and this is a program that we've participated in a few years. Actually, I think it was probably about 10 years ago we started this, and there was such an overwhelming response in Sioux Falls that we created our own drop boxes. So this is, normally our drop boxes are open anytime our lobby is, so Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. People can drop off any unwanted or unused medication, and no forms, no questions, they just drop it and then we safely dispose it. The DEA Drug Take Back Day is on Saturday. So from Saturday, or this Saturday, the 24th, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., our lobby will be open, and we'll accept those unwanted medications as well. Like I said, this has been very popular. We've probably collected over 8,000 pounds over the last 3 years of unwanted medication. I guess the whole reasoning behind this is prescription medications are abused at an extremely high rate, and sometimes they're stolen, used, sometimes they're sold again, but this is something we see time and time again. People get prescriptions for medications for any number of different things, and then once they don't need them anymore, a lot of times they're not sure what to do with them. They sit in a cupboard somewhere. That's just an open invitation for somebody, might be a family member, might be a friend of a friend, that sees them and then steals them and then abuses them. We have people that have relatives that pass away and they have a large amount of medications, they're not sure what to do with them. This gives people a way to safely dispose of that medication. And so, like I said, we've got this. If you can't make it Saturday, you can come anytime during the week throughout the year. This isn't anything that we specifically limit to one day. It's been so successful, we'll keep doing that. And actually, we added a second bin a few years ago because we were getting such big quantities of people dropping off medication.
When did you guys start doing that?
I think it was around 2009 that somewhere around that time frame that we first started participating with the DEA Drug Take Back program, and then I think it was maybe in 2011 that we got our first bins. But it's been around for quite a long time.
And those bins are just out here in the lobby?
Yep, they're out in the lobby. Like I said, people just walk in, and some people have one bottle of pills, other people have bags of pills, and it's fine. Doesn't matter what it is, we'll take it. We'll gladly dispose of it and make sure that it doesn't, get abused or find our way into somebody else's system.
You bring like a whole bottle or bag, or
Yeah, we don't accept liquids, but there's a Sharps container out there, but the pills, you just throw the whole container in and you don't have to worry about dumping them out or anything like that.
that's from 10 to 2 on Saturday?
On Saturday from 10 to 2, otherwise Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. That's all I have, unless you guys have anything else. Okay, thanks.